Hello, welcome back to Touring Backroads France. Today we're going to visit the town of Confolens, which is at the confluence of two rivers, Le Goire and La Vienne, which meet at that point in the department. This has been an important river crossing for many centuries. There's a lot of medieval history to the town as it gained importance through the Middle Ages. And then throughout the French Revolution and into the Industrial Ages, obviously a lot of changes came to the town, one of which was the arrival of the railway. Confolens is the location of a heritage railway, which is called the Vélorail. They provide both heritage locomotive service and pedal bike service, which you can rent in the warmer season and bike along the former rail grade to Roumazières. So it's got a lot of interesting history on that as well. And it was also part of the Compagnie des Chemins de Fer de Charente. This is the narrow gauge rail lines that were built across the Charente department in the early 20th century. So there's a lot to explore. Let's go take a look today at Confolens and look at some of its history and current events.
For today's trivia question, what source of energy is the easiest to harness in a little town like Confolens? Pay attention during the video, and I'd imagine you'll figure out the answer. If not, I'll let you know at the end. Now, let's explore Confolens, France. A hidden gem nestled in the northeast corner of the Charente department, this town of just under 3,000 inhabitants is located approximately 100 miles inland from the Atlantic coast and 35 miles from Angoulême. In order to get a good sense of the town's past and present, we need to divide its history into three main categories: the Middle Ages, the Industrial Revolution, and today. One could easily be surprised by the diversity of activities and cultures for a town of this size. The town organizes a summer festival every year, with different countries participating in dances and events over several days. As an international festival, the flags from the different nationalities are displayed on the historic bridges next to the town center. The town's bridge crossings provide an essential link over two rivers: the larger Vienne River, which is joined here by the smaller river Goire. This gave rise to the name of the town, which finds its source in the word confluence, from the Latin confluens, confluere, meaning to flow together. Being the meeting place of two rivers, as a double meaning of the word, would it be ironic to say that this town also brings people together for its annual summer festival? The birth of the town owes its origins to the location of a river crossing, first by fording, then over the old bridge, or Pont Vieux, after its construction in the 13th century. This was a river crossing around which the first three distinct neighborhoods arose. On the upper east riverbank, Saint-Maxime became the political center, with its fortified donjon, or keep, and its administrative court overlooking the valley. Lower down along the east riverbanks, the Saint-Barthélemy quarter gave rise to craftsmen and artisans and became the economic center. The river proved vital to both transportation and defense, allowing the town to prosper for centuries. Animal hides were transformed into leather at the tanneries and sold at market. In the meantime, on the west side of the river, the Saint-Michel quarter became the center of religion and the chapel of the commandery under the control of the parish Saint-Maurice-des-Lyons. Until the 14th century, this commandery would have most certainly been under the influence of the Knights Templar before their disappearance, although little has been officially studied about the Templars in Confolens. While the west side of the river was never fortified, the two quarters on the eastern flank were given ramparts and gates in the 13th and 15th centuries, some of which are still visible today. The town's economic growth created prosperity for its residents, who distinguished their social standing by using new architectural methods, including timbered houses, ochre limestone from Pressac, and transom windows. This is the reason we observe so many of these in the town center today, of which there exist many dozens. Current-day ordinances have been enacted to protect these structures, some of which could use a bit of care and attention. Another way the wealthy local residents stood apart was by constructing houses with towered staircases, of which we can observe one prominent and well-preserved example in the small streets of the town center. Without local guides and information, one would be none the wiser to their existence. I talked with local historian and guide Céline Deveza, who showed me around the town center and provided a lot of information about the town's past and present.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Céline Deveza. Je travaille pour la communauté de communes de Charente-Limousine et précisément je suis la chef de projet du pays d'arrêt d'histoire. Dans ce cadre, on est amené à faire des animations patrimoine pour faire découvrir les richesses de Confolens. Alors sur le territoire, on a pas mal d'anglophones effectivement qui sont installés. Donc on fait pas mal de visites guidées pour les individuels et pour les groupes toute l'année. On a énormément de choses à voir sur Confolens. Il y a beaucoup de périodes historiques qui sont représentées, donc c'est toujours un régal de faire des visites de cette ville, puisque ce sont des découvertes renouvelées qu'on fait avec chaque groupe. Mais c'est vrai qu'en tout cas, on a une communauté anglophone qui est assez largement implantée sur notre secteur.
The Middle Ages brought the construction of two churches, starting with the Église Saint-Maxime, built around the turn of the first millennium. Over the centuries, it was modified and renovated, acquiring its current structure much more recently. On the west side of the river, the Roman church of Saint-Barthélemy is built from granite and dates from the 11th century, with an annex built in the 1400s. As a side note, much of the local stone used for construction in the Middle Ages is sourced from the granite of the Massif Central, some of which may contain meteorite fragments from the Rochechouart impact structure. While the crater and the present-day towns in proximity have been extensively studied, places further away, such as Confolens, have not received the same attention. It is interesting to observe the different colors of stone used in construction around the Charente region, and in particular the changes from granite to limestone as we move southwest. Order reigned over Confolens from La Salle, a courtroom with two distinctive and unusual windows where the Lord would dispense justice. Two holding cells are located inside, and the stronghold was defended by a gate and a murder hole for defense. Locals like to point out that a stone has been lodged in the murder hole for as long as anyone can remember. Located uphill from there, the donjon, or keep, has been privately owned since the time of the French Revolution and is not accessible to visitors. I speculate that this could have been part of the transfer of property under the creation of the French assignat, a temporary French currency used in the late 18th century, but more sources would be necessary to confirm that. The house of the Duke of Épernon is an emblematic symbol of Confolens, with its columned exterior and impressive architecture. This house, along with the Count's Manor, are both situated near the market. The manor is currently a luxury hotel. Just down the road from Confolens town center, a small village marks the location of an important medieval landmark. Saint-Germain-de-Confolens, just a few miles north of the town, is a picturesque village with an impressive roster of historical events. Throughout the Middle Ages, the 100 Years' War, the wars of religion, and up to the French Revolution, this strategic high point overlooking the river valley of the Vienne to the west and l'Histoire to the east has been the site of a castle for at least 1,000 years. Little is known about its early history. The first lord about whom information is available is Guillaume de Montemar in the late 12th century. Following that period, we know the fortress was important in defense during the 100 Years' War, and close alliances formed with the royal families in Rochechouart. Places of legend, stories of battles, fountains of devotion, and use of its natural resources give this community a rich patchwork of details to be explored, should you come to visit. Make sure and pick up the guidebook at the tourism office. Confolens became an important river crossing during the Middle Ages and the home of several mills that channeled the local waterways for energy. The arrival of the industrial era brought in two rail lines. One standard gauge line still exists today thanks to the work of a local heritage railway association and the hard work of its mostly volunteer staff. The line itself has been closed to freight and passenger traffic since the 1960s. The second line was a narrow gauge track called Le Petit Mairie, which was part of the Chemin de fer économique des Charentes. My video about the rail museum in Gourville will give you more details on it. In Confolens, very little remains of this line. One bridge crossing has been left on a narrow road, which I found thanks to the local association. They also run a heritage train on Thursdays with a collection of several locomotives and some different rolling stock. During the warmer months, you can rent and ride a Vélorail, that is to say, a pedal-operated car that runs along the several miles of track to Roumazières, where there is also a terminal station. It's a fun activity for families and visitors. I stopped in to talk with the staff, who were very friendly and welcoming. The station in Confolens has been painstakingly restored, starting during the COVID crisis of 2020, with a large variety of authentic objects from both passenger and freight service. I talked to Ian, an association member and British expat who lives in the area.
My name's Ian. I'm one of the volunteers here at Confluence Station, been here for 7 years. Today we run our tourist train, which is once a week during the main tourist season.
Yeah.
For the rest of it, the time we run the Vélorails, which are just there, the self-powered pedal cars.
How many of these rail cars do you have?
In Confluence we have 14. We bought these new this year because our old ones were a little bit worn out.
Yeah, I saw that article in the Charente last year that you were getting some new equipment. And then I took a walk around the locomotives and...
Yep. It closed in 1940 to passengers, not due to the war, but due to competition from road transport.
Okay.
Because they'd started putting tarmac roads in, so a lot of the main roads were tarmacked, and they started running bus services, which, when you were only running 5 trains a day in each direction,
yeah,
were a little bit limited. Plus, the bus, believe it or not, was quicker.
And then, now this is the original track, or did you build this back in?
No, this was put back by the volunteers. The original tracks, you had 2 platforms here. Over there was a platform, and right over that side of Confluence Station was the Petit Mairie station.
Okay.
The narrow gauge railway, and that also shut in 1940 as well. They travelled less speed than this did, and this was limited, I think, to 50-60 kilometres an hour.
Yeah.
So it was the time it took to get, if you wanted to go to the other, I think it went near Angoulême, and Limoges, it was like 4 hours.
Wow, okay.
It was very slow. The line itself actually shut in 1985.
Okay.
There's a quarry at Lessac that used to use weekly stone trains.
Thanks for all your explanations.
It helps.
Alors, Vélorail est ouvert du 1er avril jusqu'à la fin des vacances de Toussaint, 7 jours sur 7 en Vélorail. Accessoirement, on fait du train aussi, donc toute l'année, là, le train avec soit les trains à thème, on part des trains de Noël en passant par les trains du festival, la chasse aux œufs, la chasse aux sorcières, et on travaille aussi avec les autocaristes pour tout ce qu'il y a de voyage, de packaging, quoi. Ils font un petit tour en train. Après, ils se font un petit resto et puis une visite dans le secteur.
Super.
Voilà.
Another curiosity from the industrial era can be found, of all places, at the cemetery. I met some locals who weren't even aware of this. In and around the area, many dolmens, or ancient stones, can be found. While that isn't the focus of today's video, I've explored them previously, for example in the Forest of the Bois in my video about Saint-Germain-de-Confolens. But here, something even stranger happened. In 1884, a local public administrator named Jean-Amédée Gontier became a widower. Having lost his young wife of 22, he was so dedicated to her that he ordered a coffin to be sculpted from the volcanic rock of the Massif Central. He then had it positioned on top of the ancient dolmens of Confolens, where it still remains today. He was buried alongside it upon his death in 1901. It's certainly unusual. A lot of people in town don't even know about it. Imagine trying to go through the paperwork to get this done today. In today's world, Confolens has an active festival season during the summer, along with a busy producers market that caters to regional foods and products. It's a popular venue, nestled alongside the Vienne River. On a warm summer evening, it's nice to mingle, taste the different foods, including mussels and oysters, snails, pinot, cognac, and of course many commonplace foods. Even pizza, burgers, and beer are available. In mid-August, the Festival de Confolens takes place over the course of several days. This year, in 2024, it runs from the 12th to the 18th of August. The town moved the dates to a bit later this year in order to avoid conflicting with the Olympic Games in Paris. Each year, a number of different countries are invited to participate in dance, singing, and races, bringing people of all ages and origins together in this amazing Backroads location. For people in and around Charente, it's definitely worth making a stop for the festival. Traveling the Backroads is certainly the theme of this channel. In Confolens, there are several original shops that are definitely hidden away. In a tiny alley near the market, I found 2 shops, an art gallery and a crafts association. I stopped in to talk to them.
Bonjour, donc je suis au magasin associatif La Maison des Créateurs à Confolens. Donc, est-ce que vous voulez vous présenter?
Alors, je m'appelle Marion, je suis créatrice et je suis la présidente de l'association. Donc, c'est une association exclusivement de créateurs dont c'est le travail. Et nous exposons à Confolens toute l'année. Voilà, on change tous les 3 mois, il y a des nouveaux créateurs qui arrivent. On essaye d'être le plus qualitatif possible.
Et quels sont un peu les produits que... Alors, vous avez du papier, enfin des produits en papier, donc cartes...
Cartes, carnets, voilà, des choses comme ça. Après, on a des sacs, des casquettes. On va avoir des châles en laine d'alpaga et en soie. Des petites boîtes à messages, des bijoux, de la céramique. Voilà, on essaye d'avoir des choses un peu étendues.
Et en travail associatif, qu'est-ce que ça veut dire en fait?
Ça veut dire qu'on partage financièrement le loyer, les charges, donc c'est beaucoup moins élevé pour un créateur de travailler avec d'autres. Voilà, c'est ça le plus important, ce qui nous permet d'être ouverts toute l'année.
D'accord, et donc c'est on va dire un magasin qui est assez unique sur Confolens, il n'y en a pas d'autres comme ça?
Alors le nôtre, non, il n'y en a qu'un. Après l'été, il y en a d'autres, des boutiques de créateurs, mais elles sont ouvertes que juillet et août. Nous, on est vraiment là toute l'année.
Très bien, et en termes d'heures d'ouverture?
Alors on est ouvert du lundi au samedi de 10h à 19h.
Ok, super, merci beaucoup d'avoir échangé.
Mais de rien.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, je suis Michel Lancelon, je représente les toiles de mon mari décédé depuis 20 ans. Depuis 20 ans, je récupère des fonds pour la recherche sur l'hôpital de Poitiers. Et maintenant, donc je présente différentes toiles du sud de la France et bien d'autres choses, bien sûr. C'est une galerie éphémère qui était ouverte depuis le 1er juillet jusqu'au 31 août. Et j'ouvrirai certainement pour les fêtes de fin d'année, novembre-décembre.
Et toujours sur Confolens?
Sur Confolens, mais peut-être pas dans cette boutique, mais sur Confolens.
Très bien. Est-ce que vous connaissez un peu la commune anglophone sur Confolens? Est-ce qu'il y a beaucoup d'anglophones?
Il y a beaucoup d'anglophones, mais je ne suis pas toujours sur Confolens. Moi, j'étais dans la Vienne, et là, oui, effectivement, dans le village où j'habitais, il y avait énormément d'anglais, et des gens extrêmement sympathiques qui vivent très bien dans la France profonde un petit peu.
The answer to today's trivia question, if you've been paying attention, is of course hydroelectric power. The confluence of the two rivers here and the energy behind their streams allows the generation of electricity today and provided power to water mills in the past. A hydroelectric power station was brought to life just south of the town center, providing up to 700 kilowatts of power with an authorization to operate until the year 2058. The site is a private project, and it's not open to the public. In upcoming videos, I'll be continuing my series on the Knights Templar in Charente. In the meantime, make sure and check out some of my other videos about local festivals and events during these warm summer months. As always, if you like the content on this channel, please like and subscribe. Your support is greatly appreciated.